Mercury. Thanks for dropping in with me. Good to see you. We are here to do the dive into your collective energy to see what this Pluto retrograde transit, it's a long, slow transit that started on May 2nd in the sign of Aquarius. And it's going to go all the way through, eventually ending up in Capricorn and then turning direct in Capricorn on October 11th. And for you, Sagittarius, it's going down in your third house of communication, beginning now. Okay, so you're probably already feeling the influence of this coming in. Right now, its influence is being felt primarily on the inner planes. It won't be until it goes direct that you'll actually actualize what you learned during this time of doing all this deep, inner, shadowy kind of work. I know, we love that stuff. When it does go direct in Capricorn, it will be in your second house. Your second house has everything to do with how you value yourself, what you value, what you invest in. And that's not just emotionally, it's also financially. I have a feeling it's a little bit of both for you, Sagittarius. It's kind of coming in that way. All right, so we're just going to dive right into it here. This is for any strong Sagittarius placement, or if you happen to have a prominent placement in the 9th house. Also, if you're a Gemini rising, that makes you a Sagittarius descendant. So you may find resonance with this message. You're really going to feel this cycle quite acutely, Sagittarius. In fact, something may come to light for you early on in this cycle about where you're best to direct your attention in terms of moving into greater expansion in your life. I feel like for you, it's coming in both in relation of career, how you make your money, and also in your relationships, okay? How you can grow into deeper love, greater love, more expansion, or whatever that looks like for you. Some of you are trying to figure it out, okay? But you have a full moon coming up on the 23rd in your sign, and it's an important one, okay? Please pay heed. If you have a Sagittarius moon, this will come in very strongly for you. Whenever the full moon or the new moon is coming in your moon sign, it's very important. So if you got a Sag moon, please pay attention. There's a lot of illumination that will happen for you on the inner planes at that time. You may receive intuitive messages. You may receive messages from your subconscious. We have to remember that in opening up this cycle with this Pluto retrograde, that everything is going down on the inner planes, okay? So it's all about your internal power struggles, control issues, the ways that you get yourself into tight binds with that inner saboteur action. It's the secrets you keep, and it's all going down on the psychological, emotional, intuitive level, sometimes paranoia level if you let your mind run away with you, okay? So try to drop in. Stay centered in your heart. I feel like a lot's coming up for you in the heart space, all right? And there's something you want to communicate there, but first you need to get in touch with your own feelings and what they're communicating to you. It's like, you got to figure out what you want. I think you're kind of trying to figure out, what does my future look like? You haven't made up your mind yet, Sag. Oh no, see, you're still holding on. You've had a lot of knives stuck in your back. You feel betrayed. But there's something about this situation where you're like, you know what? I can take a licking and I can keep on ticking. There's still fight left in me yet. Okay, so there's something you're not completely done with. You might be resisting this in a way, okay? And there's something you need to look at here. You might be struggling with understanding where is the blockage coming in your life, from what quarter is the betrayal coming from. You may be starting to realize ways that you betray yourself, ways that you get yourself into these situations, you know, by making yourself adhere to, you know, certain connections, guidelines, agreements, things that used to, you know, hold weight at one time or another, but now you're questioning those loyalties, okay? There's something here too that you're really trying to sort through within yourself. Like, why do you always sabotage things right when something appears like it could be really good? You know, you sometimes throw a wrench in the works. It's not what you think you're doing at the time. It's something you realize more in hindsight, okay? So we have to remember, it's about all of us having accountability in this cycle. Don't take it hard, all right? Every sign is going to get these kind of messages. Yeah, and just as I said that, temperance flew on the floor. That's your card. It's like you're needing to find balance here, you know? Well, it's interesting. I just heard, you know, devil on one side, angel on the other. You just threw the angel to the ground. Well, you know, the devil's in the details, okay? Better the devil you know in some cases. Better the devil you know than getting to deal with the angels. They can be a lot harder than the devils, I have to say. Okay, it was 5:55 on the clock when I first went into that. So something is due for a change. There's also this need to stop looking at trying to find the balance with another or trying to find the balance outside of yourself. It's about first achieving that balance within, okay? You haven't been paying attention to that. I feel like you've been more fixated on the external, but right now, if you want to move into greater expansion, if you want to have greater dominion, if you want to expand your territory, interesting the way this message is coming through. And I think that's both in business and emotionally. Some of you are in, you know, a game of love, I have to say. It is coming in that way, or you feel like somebody's playing a game with you. But you're always the one in charge, okay? When it comes to the games, Sagittarius, there's something here where you have to really look at how you've been playing the game up to this point, okay? This is about the inner work. It's about the inner shadow work here. So where have you been feeling divided? You know, not sure if you should be all in with something, keeping a foot in, you know, another door just in case, you know? Where have you been trying to exert too much control, or where have you been holding in what you're feeling? It looks like around communication too much as a way to have control in a situation. You know, people do that sometimes. They think, well, as long as they don't know what I feel, then I still have some sense of control. It's an artificial control, you know. But there's something here that you've held in. You know, the energy deals with the secrets we keep and how that actually like drains us of our power. You know, it's those things that we don't open up about, that we aren't transparent about, that end up having a lot of power over us as well. I feel like this is coming in for you. I feel like you're going to have a lot of stuff come up in your dream space, just intuitively, just nagging senses of things to come that you can't shake. If you don't start really looking at what's going on inside of you, what you're feeling, what your part is in that, instead of sort of like deflecting outside of yourself, ironically, it's once you do this work and you start looking at where you need to shift, where do you need to change your stance, where do you need to let go a little bit more. I mean, 10 of Swords in reverse too, that can be, you know, sort of a little bit of a vengeance mindset, I have to say. You're like, oh yeah, and I got the strength for it, man. Some of you are feeling that way, I have to say. I mean, it is that 80s energy. It is dancing with the devil a bit. I feel like whatever this is, it's something that you feel like bested you in the past, and now you feel like you need to turn that around. You need to turn those tables. There's something about, for your own sake, getting the upper hand in this situation. But I feel like more than anything, this is a matter of pride, and it has to do with communication. And maybe that aggression or that pent up energy or that frustration, it's really masking a lot of feelings. You know, it reminds me of Aesop's fables. You know, maybe there's a particular thorn in your paw and you need somebody to help pull it out. Okay, maybe they need to pull it out of you, the communication out of you. You could be dealing with a Leo in regard to this situation, but whatever you feel is too much to overcome, you're going to find the strength within you. You know, if you're getting really clear about what you feel, what you really want. How do you see the past? What was your part in it that led to your present? Once you understand that, then you'll be able to actually move forward. Now, it's interesting because on June 2nd, Jupiter is going to be moving through Gemini. So you Gemini risings will really be feeling this. And it's going to form a trine with Pluto, which is a very positive aspect that can support communication. But we know that this is having somewhat of a magnifying effect. It's like a magnifying glass. So I think you're going to understand something in the area of communication, maybe what led to some arguments, okay? Because usually, you know, the lions roar, you know, it can be a fearful thing. So this could be, you know, arguments that have occurred in the past. Maybe it's been communication breakdown. Somebody could have gone completely cold. You don't know why. Okay. Well, this is, you know, something that can only be solved within. It's like once you understand your side, you will understand the position of the other, because you really need to remember in this situation that you're mirrors, okay? Whoever you're dealing with, you're mirroring each other right now. And that's why there's not reciprocation. In some cases, you feel like you already have looked at your side. You're very clear. You feel like it's the other that has the problem. You want them to come up and out with it. You're like, come on already. Stop holding it inside. Just let me have it. Even if you're angry, let me have it. Just give me something, anything. Okay, interesting. But I know you've thrown the balance away, you know, and the devil energy is a little bit more at the forefront right now, but the devil is in the details, okay? So it's about dropping in, you know, pulling up a chair for that devil being that part of you that can trip you up, right? So important for moving through the Pluto retrograde energy, and it's what will ultimately empower you. Now, when that trine comes in, that's in Gemini with Jupiter, you know, and it's forming that harmonious aspect to Pluto, and you're able to see things a little bit more clearly. You might have, you know, certain intuitions come in that highlight a direction to explore. You might be more aware of certain synchronicities that start to line up for you. Look for life to be in communication with you at that time. You may hear from a certain person. A communication may kick off. You may feel like reaching out to somebody on that day. And through that, whatever happens, it kicks off an internal process for you. You'll probably get a lot coming through your feelings, you know, your repetitive thoughts, your dream space, your subconscious stuff sort of bubbling up. And if you do find yourself feeling a little bit activated, understand there's something there that relates to some kind of wounding. It's just a mask for what really hurts, you know? The more you can kind of excavate that, get down to the bottom of it, you'll get in touch with what's real. And this is so important because on July 21st, we have Mars trine Pluto. And that's an excellent time for you to put whatever you learn during this cycle of exploration into practice. Okay, so there's a strong action that can be taken at that time. Let's see what this is. What is needing to be balanced out for Sagittarius in the area of communication? I feel like some of you have gone through so much shifting in your external reality that you're kind of having to figure out where you're at internally. You know, you're not sure yet. It's like your inner GPS is off, so you kind of need to drop in for a bit and recalibrate. You know, so much has changed in the outer. You're not sure where you want to head next. There's your energy coming out very strongly, independent, okay? Really wanting to stay in your strength, stay in your power. I do feel like something left behind. And there's a sense of almost like sadness or remorse around this. In some cases, you may know that you need to leave something behind, but you may be feeling a little guilty about it. You may even feel like it's a little, maybe somebody else actually is kind of how it's coming through. Maybe somebody else sees it as selfish, I have to say. Because it's interesting how Temperance, which represents you, ended up on the floor there, okay? Whereas the Queen of Wands is most commonly associated with Leo energy, and we do have the Leo significator here with the Sun. So maybe there is a Leo or somebody in your past, because often that energy with strength can really represent the past. Maybe there's somebody from your past who feels like they're being forced to move away from this situation, or they're being forced to carry forward some pain with them because you're not willing to balance things out with them. Or they feel there's something you're not seeing in this situation. I think you two are at odds. You both feel like the other is being selfish, and it's because there's a certain amount of pride involved in this situation, which is causing the separation. and the lost in translation, communication. Something needs to be balanced out here, because right now the emotions are out of balance. And also, you know, the work piece came in for you too. So the finances may need a little balancing out as well. The exchange of energy. You know, you're kind of like two ships passing in the night, or you're not on the same page. You're not on the same page with this person. In some cases, you could share a child with each other, or you really ding each other's child stuff, you know, your inner child stuff. It can be a little bit of a trauma bond in some cases, or you've known this person since childhood. I'm picking up on a very young piece here. Maybe you feel very young with this person, or maybe you feel this person's very immature and they need to grow up. You know, they may see the same in you. I feel like it's a little bit of back and forth. And that's what's keeping you from finding the place of integration with this. It's so important that you just own your piece. Take your focus off the other in this cycle, okay? And allow yourself to really get in touch with what feels right to you, okay? It looks like there could be some happiness that could come out of this if you take this time to really sink into your own independent energy. Maybe your energy's been too enmeshed with this person's, and you really need to just get back in touch with what makes you feel alive and what you want to do. Ooh, yeah, you want to get back in touch with something, all right. Got the Ace of Wands here, okay? It could be pent up passion, pent up tension, especially sexual tension, you know. This could be coming in a bit, I have to say. Yeah, you know, maybe you've been trying, your advances keep getting shot down. You're a little worse for the wear. Maybe you're just tired of things being so rough. That might be why you're kind of like just saying, forget it. Better the devil I know. I feel like I've been trying to work things out for so long, and I just, you know, forget it. I just want to go back to, you know, just playing the field, having some fun. You know, this is too vulnerable of territory for me. Got the Queen of Swords here, okay? Could be dealing with an ex in this situation. You could be dealing with, you know, a situation that needs to be balanced out karmically. And that's some rough stuff, man. You know, it's not easy to look at things that happened in the past. Some of you are just wanting to rush ahead and get to the good stuff. You don't want to look at the wounding anymore. You're tired of it. You're sick of it. You don't want to reflect on it. And yet the only way out is through. And there's a certain truth here that needs to be acknowledged with the Queen of Swords showing up. Libra energy, Libra South Node energy. It could be Gemini, Aquarius as well. You could be dealing with an ex in this situation, you know. And it looks here like this very well could have been somebody that you were involved with before. Okay, we do have a Queen of Pentacles here, right? And maybe this person is trying to make up their mind if they should make an investment in you, or vice versa. It can work both ways, okay? Somebody here has found a sense of value, and they're strongly considering their investments and what they want to move forward toward romantically. And you may be a little bit worse for the wear. You may feel like this person's played a lot of games. We got Earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn here. And you might not know what's coming at you. You know, you got one person here that, you know, this could even be two different people. It could very well be the same person, you know. You may be dealing with somebody who's a lot like you in kind of like two different minds. You know, one side of them wants to head toward the pleasure, wants to head toward the romance. The other part of them is very focused on the bottom line, business, getting down to business, getting the money on, you know. And you may feel like, you know, whatever direction this is that you've been considering, or whoever this is who has been approaching you, or is on the table as an option, you feel like, you know, you don't know what's going to come at you. You may think that the victory is in just calling it quits, man, I have to say. Scorpio energy here, coming in with the death. Yeah, you might be thinking, you know what? I realize that I just want to be free, man. Knight of Wands, Ace of Swords, okay? I think you're in two minds about something, okay? And with that, again, here comes news, potentially from the past, all right? That might sync up with you sometime around June 2nd when there's that Gemini trine. You might hear from somebody that you were involved with in the past, all right? We've got quite a few characters on the board here. Could have a strong earth sign placement, all right? Could have a strong air sign placement, fire like you. Okay, we got just a little bit of all the action on the board, really, even a little bit of cups energy there, especially coming through a Scorpio. All right, I feel like there's something that needs to be properly closed here before you can move forward toward anything, I feel like. And that's something that you have to feel out within you. I feel like you've been a little bit divided about what the right choice is. And maybe it's because there's some communication that still remains to be had that needs to be handled properly. You might feel like you have some things that you need to express or say that you didn't get an opportunity to. You may feel like you need closure. You may not be sure if this person's even interested in pursuing that with you. I could see that too. But whatever this is, I feel like you do need to find yourself and get clear a little bit. You are walking away from something you invested quite a bit of emotional energy in, and you're choosing to go on a solo journey for a little bit. I think you need to find yourself, figure yourself out. And I think for some of you, it's about finding the right words to say and really just getting in touch with where you're at now. Like, who am I now? What do I want now? All right. Let me get any further details about that. It looks like you're going to be taking an action to walk away. I mean, that's what it looks like to me. You might hear from this person, then you might say, you know, I need to kind of like think about this for a bit. I mean, I have to say the Ten of Swords just fell out and crossed the Death card. So you are bringing this connection to an end. I think you feel like there's just been too much water under the bridge here. There's been too many experiences where you felt really like stabbed in the back, betrayed, and you don't want to set yourself up for that again. You really do have your hackles up here. Yep. And I mean, this is the movement forward. I have to say, the movement forward comes after the ending. So I do feel like that's what you're going to be dealing with in this particular cycle as it opens up when you got the Pluto going retrograde in Aquarius. Let me see what landed on the floor here. You're looking within to figure out the words that you need to express, what you need to say, because you don't want to have any regrets. You want to move forward very cleanly. There's also a part of you that feels like, I don't really want to leave things as they are, okay? Some of you are really struggling a bit with some pent-up anger, resentment, throats wanting to close up around that. Some of you are wanting some last digs in. Some of you, not all of you, okay? Everybody's at a different place on their path. Not everybody in the collective is going to be at the same place. 23:55 on the clock. Some of you are actively in the process of transformation with this big time, and it's rocking and rolling you. 1 minute, you know, you just want to wring this person's neck. The next minute, you feel all soft and gushy, and you start to feel the wounding. You feel the ways you're hurt, and you go back and forth between these two polarities. So this is what you need to get clear for. I think that something will come in around June 2nd, some kind of communication. It opens up a possibility to explore, all right? It opens up the possibility for a new vision and moving forward, but you need to consider it. And so I think that's how Pluto is going to travel with you. You're going to be looking, you know, in the root cellar of everything that went on in the relationship, the history of the relationship, the hurts you experienced, the way you felt betrayed, but you got to go beyond that. You got to go a little bit deeper, because to really work this cycle, you have to look at your part in that. And I think that's what you're going to discover, okay? I think ultimately you're going to arrive at a certain place of truth. And I do feel like something is being released here, all right? Something is being released. You're releasing what's been a disappointing cycle in this relationship. I feel like whatever this relationship is, you've given this a lot of effort. You've tried over and over and over and over again. You may feel like it's the other person's turn to make more of the effort here. I don't feel like you're going to want to move forward with this, but there's a lot that you need to integrate around this. Cancer energy here. A mother could figure into this situation. You could be dealing with a Cancer Leo cusper, okay? There may be a particular mother or somebody you share a child with that is in strong opposition to you moving forward in a particular direction. And I think that there's a little bit of concern about this potentially in relation to a child, okay? That might be the primary concern. I could also see this in terms of, you know, you feel like you have to educate this person about how you see things. Maybe this person hasn't really given you the opportunity to express where you're at, how you see things moving forward, okay? I think you're getting clear about it, though, before you press forward with this. You have a lot of stress around this, around educating this person about how you're feeling, educating this person about what you've been going through, what you've been struggling with. I think you also have a lot of stress about, you know, making yourself vulnerable again. You don't know what's going to happen if you really reveal your hand, so to speak. It's had you at the crossroads for quite a bit. I have to say here, okay, you could be dealing with a Gemini. It's a major choice that you need to make here. There is some way here that you do feel very tied, very bound up. But this is like also looking at the places inside of you where you're sort of like, you're keeping yourself bound. You don't have to be. You know, it's up to you to decide what you want to be loyal to. I do feel it's a matter of loyalty. For some of you, you're stuck in a situation where it's about keeping up appearances with that devil energy. It's about that 10th house. It's about how it looks to people, you know, the image it presents. And you're very, very concerned about your security. All right. And that's kind of what's keeping you stuck in this situation. But behind it, you're really hoping for some kind of rebirth in your love life. You know, you're hoping for some kind of reconnection. You're wanting more magic. You don't want the mundane, I have to say. And you want to move out of this energy. You've really been feeling like you've just been shut out. You know, you're tired of the cold treatment. And this could be in relation to an emperor here. Really strong Taurus energy coming in with the King of Pentacles behind there. Also Aries energy. There could have been some betrayal in this situation, but it's up to you to look at the ways that you've really betrayed yourself when we're looking at this cycle. I know it's not fun to look at, but that is the reality of how we need to move through this. It's totally about taking the focus away from the external and putting it all within. Where am I off in my perspective here? So, you know, this is an education too. You know, maybe you're used to kind of looking at the role that other played without really looking very deeply into the ways that you betrayed yourself, the ways that you didn't trust your judgment, the ways that you ignored the red flags, or the ways that you were too impulsive, just threw caution to the wind, all right? I do see you are going to move forward here, all right? You will move forward. Your hope will be renewed after a healing period where there's been some separation, all right? But not until one of these things is left behind. That's what I see. You are leaving something behind here. Something that at one point, you know, you felt very loyal to. And I see that here with the Hierophant. Could be a Taurus, could be a committed relationship. But I think that there's just something that you've tried to work out here over and over again, and it hasn't felt right to you. For some of you, it's the whole concept of conventional commitment. And also this plays out in the role of, you know, career too. I see, you know, you could be working for a corporation. You could be in a very sort of like traditional kind of job, you know. You could work for the government, or you could work for some big company. And you have a lot of responsibility, and it's starting to sort of like cramp your style, man. and you don't feel like you're being true to yourself staying in this role because you're doing something that doesn't really speak to you. So I really feel like you're dealing with both of these matters. In that case, with career, you may be involved in telecommunications too. That may be your line of work, or you may be involved in tech, something like that. You might be looking to continue in that vein, but do something a little different. You may be starting to explore those options. You might be thinking about, the strategy you have to play in order to, make a bold move that might shake things up a little bit. And you may be dealing with people, I would say potentially, a romantic partner, or somebody you share a child with, or somebody you share financial obligations with, who is in disagreement with you taking this kind of a risk. But I think you're really going to be sorting through this, okay? Let's see what comes in. Let's see what comes in after this. What comes in for Sag, as if the energy moves into Capricorn? What happens is Sagittarius starts to head into that territory. You could be dealing with a Capricorn too, I have to say, with that devil there, right? Again, this could be a mother, this could be a baby's mother, this could be an influence that comes along with this connection that also is like a real burden, to the connection too, right? And so do you want to take that on as well? Interesting message come in there, okay? You got to look at all aspects of this situation, I feel, okay? And also be careful what you chain yourself to, just for the sake of having a quick rise to status, or a quick rise to a position of power, because you'll be locked into it for a good time to come. Strongly consider your moves here. Okay, so it's interesting because I see you turning around and going back in a direction you left behind a ways back there, okay, when it comes to when the energy moves into Capricorn. You're going to realize that something deserves more effort, or maybe what you learned during that time, kind of like turning within, are game-changing aspects, things that you're like, I should have done this, I didn't handle this properly, I need to communicate this, and I see you turning back around. Turning back around, okay, why is Sag going to be turning back around? What's that going to be about? There's something that still remains to be done. Oh, oh my gosh, that's really funny, okay? Again, the 8 of Cups flew out in reverse down on the floor. So it's not funny. I think you're just going back, but just real quick. It's sort of like, I feel like you're going to have this experience where you got to dip back in there because there's something you need to handle, something you need to address. But I see you deciding it's definitely not a good idea to revisit that after you do this course correction for a moment. It's more like tidying up a detail. All right, interesting. What is this card here? Because it landed right on top of all this mess. Judgment. Oh. Judgment. Yep. Judgment. You're going to go back because you have to tidy something up. There's a loose end you need to tidy up before you're free to really move forward to what you want to move forward to. Judgment there. All right. And there is some kind of revival that you are wanting in your life. You're wanting a renewal. You're ready to feel alive again. And I think you know where your heart's set in that regard. And you're going to head in that direction. But there's something you need to tie up here before you can move forward. For some of you, it is coming out this way. I'm going to bring it in. It's not for everybody, but for those of you magicians out there, you may feel like there's something magically you need to tie up back there. You need to settle a particular score to make sure there's no further interference. I got sentience around that. Okay. Do what you will, man. Just be aware this is a pretty heavy cycle to be doing that stuff. You might already be going through all this because of that action, you know, if that is something you're relating to, right? So, you know, sometimes more is not better. Yeah, I mean, we got the Knight of Swords here. You might want to be mindful about rushing forward too fast. I don't know. I mean, there's this part about you feeling like it's a road opener, though, I have to say, with the full Aries energy, Aquarius energy there, opening up the new cycle. You feel like that's celebration for you. So it might be, you know, you really need to like cut off a particular like energetic tie. Oh, interesting. There might even be like like more of like a spiritual like marriage here. I don't know if you did a hand fasting with somebody or if you made some kind of spiritual commitment to that person, like some kind of oath you made with a particular person. And there's something that you need to like dissolve before your energy is free to move forward. That's very interesting. Very interesting. I do see you moving forward, though, in a direction where you feel that um, that's where you want to invest. It's what makes you feel alive again. It's all this like revival energy, renewal energy around it, and you feeling really empowered too, really in your strength moving forward. I think in the case it's coming back, it's really persistent. In the case where you feel like somebody like stole your power from you, I think you got it twisted. You gave your power away, and that's something you need to discover from doing the internal work. But I feel like some of you feel like, no, I really need to call my power back from this person. And so that could be uh, what comes through this period of doing this internal work around this when you do finally revisit. I feel like after you have an initial communication and then you take a little time to yourself to feel it out, you may be coming forward to kind of like really make it clear to them that you're calling your power back and you're dissolving that soul contract with this person. And that may be the thing that really gets things moving in your life and changes everything for you. Very swift. I mean, definitely speaking the truth and speaking it very boldly, okay? And it does open up a new cycle with the Fool. Any final details on that for Sagittarius spirit? Any final details on that for Sagittarius spirit? Any final details on that for Sagittarius? Whoop. Why is everything landing on the floor? Oh, I like this. Oh, I love this. Yep. Yep. I have to tell you, some of you are really over a particular high priestess that's been throwing a bunch of obstacles on your path. You are sick and tired of trying to fend it off. You don't want to deal with it anymore. And if you haven't been dealing with somebody throwing stuff your way, you're dealing with somebody who's really been manipulative or somebody that is just hiding too much, too guarded, too much going on beneath the surface. And your intuition has been screaming at you about it. And you're like, if things aren't going to be up front, if things aren't going to be clear, I'm done with it. I do see you dropping your guard, and I also see you sort of like showing your hand too. I think that you're going to really stand in your power at this time, and you're going to communicate what's true for you. You're not going to feel like you have to like hold it in or protect yourself anymore, which I think is really beautiful and empowering. I see you taking your power back and living life on your terms, and you're going to follow your heart. You're going to go in the direction that fulfills you, whether or not people have an issue with it or not. And I think what you're going to recognize is you don't need to defend your position. Like, it's your life, and you're about to live it. Okay. So characters on the board, people you could be dealing with, Capricorn, Taurus came in very strongly. You could be dealing with a Virgo too. You could be dealing with a Cancer Leo cusper, a Leo, Pisces, Aries, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, Libra and Gemini came in really strong. Aquarius came in too, I have to say. Got all the air signs here. You could also have any of these strong in your chart as well. Earth sign energy, pretty strong in this read, you know, especially Taurus. Especially Taurus, a lot of Taurus significators here, a lot of Leo significators as well. Lets me know you are dealing with matters in association to the past, okay? And something's getting you moving forward from this stuck position come fall. Cut of the deck energy. All right. You see work, okay? You're working things out. I think you're going to be moving potentially because of your work, or whatever you work out here is closing something up that's been in a stuck position for too long. You could be an Ophiuchus, and you really already know the ways that you want to transform your fate into destiny, and you're actively leading this charge. You're deep in the process of transformation right now. Ophiuchus is born November 30th to December 18th. I feel like you're going to solve that inner riddle of yours. It arrives you in a place of truth. And finally, you're going to know where your due north is. You're going to know what your North Star is, what your North Node is, that destiny. And I see you heading straight toward it. I also see a potential move for you, and I definitely see changes at work. But there's something you're working out here, and it's working out in material reality for you. And I think you'll be quite pleased with the way it turns out there with the 9 of Cups, right? This is for personal fulfillment. But it's interesting because there's also a soulmate on the other side of this as well, and some communication that comes in here. So a lot of communication and movement. First, your personal gratification. I feel like you're focusing on yourself first, and I think that's really good. And then it looks like you're connecting here with a soulmate, somebody you have fond memories with, somebody you share a deep connection with, potentially. You know, could be somebody brand new that you just feel an instant soul recognition. Whatever this is, things get moving forward quite quickly. This comes in a couple of months. I feel this communication starts. So look to that July 21st period there. That might be when you take a bold action in that regard. And it's sort of just a seed to plant for things to come for your future in this turn of destiny. But looks good, Sag.